I think truly in his core, he wants to help people grow and develop. I think that's the difference.
I think for me it stands out, his sincerity stands out. He's really wants to help and be a resource for whatever need you may have.
You know, Dan has a very soothing presence, I think, that makes people kind of want to share information.
Very professional about how he handles his business, which I like. And he's tried to put a group together that complements each other very well.
Dan as a leader has a great background, but more importantly, a passion for making our experience a good one.
What I really appreciate about him is he really holds us to the structure of Vistage, because we can always get off tangent a little bit, but that creates the Vistage experience. It allows us to stay within the parameters of what we're working through. So he's flexible enough to really meet our needs, but then also keeps us in line with the Vistage, parameters.
To have a resource like Dan, someone who has a pulse on what's going on with a lot of different businesses and business owners in the community, and he can help you. He's seen these problems before. That's where he's kind of just got a sense of what's going on, what issues people are facing in the market. He's kind of bringing that collective knowledge back to the group.
Based on, our one-on-ones with him monthly, I think, it's obvious that the things that we're talking to him about and facing gets incorporated into the speaker network that we're seeing. Dan's really available whenever we need him, and it's a very easy relationship to have Dan on your side when you need Dan there for you.
So Dan is one of the best connectors I've ever known. He knows so many people, but he also is able to see connections and people that would be helpful, and is able to leverage that in the group. It's a people thing is where the value comes with Dan to me, and seeing how a connection that you might not think there would be a connection, but Dan sees something that might be helpful, and that ends up being somebody that really can be helpful. I think it doesn't hurt that Dan just knows a lot of people.
He's pretty strict with the process, but he also leaves room to kind of bounce a little bit. And Dan's been there, he's been a business owner, he's been around. So his wisdom to engage in a lot of the processes or a lot of the issues or a lot of the questions, I think it really makes it work.
The reason that I joined this particular group was because of Dan. You're challenged to really be self-reflective on different topics, and Dan is I would call him a master at coming up with what these topics are going to be. He seems to hit the right topics at the right times. And then part of that is because he knows the group. He knows everybody in the group, and he knows what's going on in their lives.
Dan just has a heart for people. I mean, he cares about you, he remembers you, he knows, he gets to know you. You don't get that from just everybody, and it's genuine. I mean, you can tell in his heart whenever you meet with him outside of Vistage. He remembers what you talked about the last time. It wasn't just an empty, hey, how are things going? But it really was from a caring heart.